Hey guys, this is Ocean. This is going to be my few months in, I renamed the series, video about the Cirque du Tarot, which was my Christmas deck. You know, if you're around for a while now, or if you were around last, well, I think starting September, you would know that I was very excited for this deck. But you know, my first impression back then was just my first impression. So this video is actually about my experience with the deck, and let me just, you know, emphasize that this is good and bad, my opinion. It doesn't have to mean anything to you. Hopefully it helps you decide if you want this deck or not. But, you know, like I said, whatever I'm saying is just my experience. I'm not saying it's true for everybody, but I think you know that by now. But, you know, let's be sure. Okay, so this deck is by Llewellyn, which you might know that I'm not the biggest fan of the packaging. So let's start with that. The box is pretty. I'm not saying it's not. It's a good quality. It's magnetic. You can remove this cardstock insert and use it, you know, to keep something else in it if you want, and you don't want to keep the deck in the box. For me, this is too much, takes up too much space. It's meant oxide to take out the deck from it. It's heavy because even though the guidebook is, you know, lovely and everything, it's heavy. So I don't know, I think it's beautiful. I mean, I like how it looks, but I think it's completely unpractical, and I like practical things. So that's just the box. The guidebook. No, wait. I wanted. I have notes for these type of videos. I have notes. So cardstock. Yes, card size. This is, you know, a card from the deck, and this is a Dirty Pam, which was reprinted recently by that UK tarot magazine, and I managed to grab a copy. So this should be a regular sized one. So hopefully you can see that these cards are smaller and a bit wider than, or maybe not, I don't know, maybe this is not an actual regular size tarot. Maybe it's smaller, I don't know. But I know that these cards are smaller than a regular size tarot card, which I know a lot of people have no idea. So, but you can, you know, look up the centimeters on a website. If you don't have any tarot decks, you can just measure it out from paper and see how it fits in your hand. I did that with a few decks, to be honest. So I think that's a useful trick. I like this size because I have small hands. For me, that amount that this card or deck is smaller, it helps me hold the deck actually. So I'm not against the size change. What do I want to talk about? Favorite cards? Yes. Okay, so there's not a lot of favorite cards in this deck, and you could be like, what? This was your, you know, you were so excited for this deck. Yes, I was. Yet not a lot of favorite cards. I do love, I absolutely adore the art style. This is still, I think, a children's book sort of illustration, which I was so excited about. And I have one of my favorite things is the back. I think all the suits are represented in such a pretty way, and I just love them. I mean, all we have cups. Okay, yeah, the pentacles are a bit, you know, misleading at first, because if you're looking for something like this for the earth element, you're not gonna be able to see that. But I love how it looks. Unfortunately, there's no explanation for the constellations around the borders, which kind of I was sad, because I was looking forward to that, you know, just knowing if it was random or if it was chosen. I'm completely fine with random. I just want to know. I'm nosy like that. So the High Priestess is the ringmaster in this deck. Hopefully it's not glaring enough. And my cat is snoring. I really like her. I think this positioning of her, how she's sitting, you know, where she's sitting is very powerful and still has enough mystery that you know, the High Priestess card has. So I was happy to see that the High Priestess card was a good one, because you might know that that's my favorite card, or my connection to the tarot. The Three of Pentacles is a good one as well, because it really clearly shows teamwork, and I like that the figures who are working together are small and the task, so to speak, is a big one, because it shows that, you know, if you work together you can achieve big things. I really like that. But at the same time, even though I like how the Eight of Pentacles shows that when you're at that stage of things where you're perfecting, you know, you're at the end of a process, you need help, you're not there, you're not achieving it alone. So I like that, but because of that, these two cards are too similar for me, which kind of sucks. Okay. But I mean, I like it, and at the same time I don't. The Word was another one that I really enjoyed, because it has that grand finale. In the book, it's described as after the performance ended, there's before the curtain call, you know, before the curtain is closed, everyone comes out to bow to the audience and stuff like that. So this is the big, we did it, the performance is done, we're done with that cycle idea, which I like, you know. I think in the aspect of the story being the circus, this one was a really good one. Another one was a Five of Pentacles, which I was curious about. I remember in the first impression one, unfortunately, or oh, was it explained? Maybe this was explained, but because there were some cards that were not explained clearly, or how much I wanted them to be explained. But I like the Five of Pentacles because, I mean, in this card, because you just don't know which are you? Are you the one who, you know, who's trying desperately, holding on to something that has money, so to speak, but, you know, you're not the one in charge, you're just trying to be on that road? Or are you the one looking up and wishing you had that money? Or, you know, there are multiple options how to read this card, and I like that one. I don't know why am I laying them down. You're not gonna be able to see them. Or, you know, it doesn't matter. I guess it's just a tarot reader, you have to lay out the cards. And the last one is the Lovers, which was featured in one of my, maybe I think it was the hashtag favorite, no, Show Me Your Lovers, which was started by Moran Starseeds Tarot, where I was talking about my favorite lovers. And I really like how these two are, this is representing a stolen moment. You know, when life is busy, you make that, you make time for the other person. You know, you make sure that you spend time with someone that you love. And I appreciate the choice that, not sacrifice, because this is not sacrifice, that, how to say that? Yeah, if I remember the word, I will let you know. But, you know, that effort, let's say that comes with prioritizing a relationship. So these are my favorite ones. Not as much as I was thinking I would have. Like, I mean, it's only 6, but, and I know that I'm foreshadowing quite heavily, but yeah. Let's talk about cards that I didn't really like. I think I want to talk about. No, I'm gonna talk about the court cards in the guidebook section. So Guidebook, Llewellyn, pretty, you know, it is fully illustrated. You have the cards as one page every, I mean a full page, so you can look at all the details, which is lovely. I do think it's freaking heavy. I think it's unnecessary, but I understand that this is part of the branding. They chose to release their boxes like that. I mean, they achieve what they want. They stand out. You will pretty much immediately recognize the Llewellyn box because of how they set up. So, you know, more power to them. even though I wish there would be 2 options, like a smaller 2-part box option and this one with the big one. So if someone wants the displaying the tarot deck option, they can have that, and other people just want the I don't have much space, please, you know, make it more compact version. That would be a choice. I do think that starting to offer that option or those 2 options would benefit them with different cardstock maybe even, but you know, that's just you know, let's be crazy and wish for everything, because turns out there are people who really like the Llewellyn cardstock, so I'm assuming they still sell enough so they don't have to change. And you know, I'm not saying they should because I'm telling them, I'm just saying it's not my favorite. It's a bit flimsy, but I like the smaller size. Okay, so guidebook. And I did not edge it, just in case. So guidebook, like I said, it's big, it's heavy. My main problem with this deck, and let's be honest, that, and like I said, let's empathize it again, this is just for me. This is a storybook and not a tarot guidebook. And what I mean by that is it's set up really well. There's the first act where you get to introduce to the majors, and you know, you go through each card, and then there are act 2 where the swords, and there's a description what happens, and which I really liked, honestly, the idea of acts and you know how it ends and everything. And I didn't even look at the spreads, to be honest, because I was just like done with the whole thing. As soon as I read through the guidebook, I was like, nope, because I wanted to work with this deck. I worked with this deck before reading the guidebook, and there are cards where they are different from how you would normally see the card. It's right, RWS based, but there are cards like this, 7 of Cups. You know, there's a giant one-eyed octopus, and you're like, okay, that's interesting, and all the cups look exactly the same, and people are trying to throw money in it, so I'm like, I can't wait, you know, to see what the meaning is. And I was just so excited because it looked like something else than normally, and how I normally would read the cards, and I was excited for that. So it's not like I'm too set in the RWS system that, you know, I can't differ from it. It's nothing like that. But this guidebook is trying to be an RWS deck, and a guidebook for a deck like that, but it's at the same time trying to tell a story, and it's not I don't think that it's matching the tarot in a way how it should be matching. And what I mean by that, it doesn't really make sense for a lot of times, the explanation that you get. And that's why I would, even if you like the you know, the deck, I wouldn't recommend this for a beginner, because you will get lost. There is just so many similar descriptions for cards, or it's written in a way that you're not going, if you're a newbie, you're not going to understand what you're supposed to take away from it. It's a nice story for the card, but it's not something that I am, like I said, it's my idea, or what I think for, you know, would work for a newbie. I don't think you would be able to use it in a reading, and that's a big problem for a tarot deck, because it can be pretty, it can be really cool, it's beautifully illustrated. I will never say that. Josh Duff is so talented. That and Lisa Robertson as well. You know, I still love the Mermaid Tarot, but that was a completely different experience. This one I'm not keeping. I mean, let's just be honest. And most of the traditional meanings are in the challenger positions anyway, which is the reversed or the negative, or whatever, how you want to read the, you know, reversed position. But when they are in an ally position, sometimes you're just like, okay, but what am I supposed to, how am I supposed to read this? Because it describes the story, but not in a way that you can use it in a reading. That's my, you know, That's how I read it. And there were some cards, multiple cards, when there the challenger position's advice was take a breathe, take a breath and just relax. And I was like, okay, but like 4 or 5 cards, I'm supposed to do the same thing. That's not how tarot works. That's not how or why I find tarot so useful. I find it so useful because it gives me different things to do. So yeah, I had a problem with that. Other one, and I had this one in a similar. I had a similar problem with the Mermaid Tarot with the core cards, that they were too similar to each other. But this one, it's even the illustration. As you can see, this is the page of, okay, Claire, page of Swords. Someone sitting in front of a big mirror doing their makeup. Page of Cups, exact same thing, just the costume that they will put on and the colors and the skin tone is different, which is nice, but there's more, there's a big difference between the pages. Yes, their main things are the same, but you're not gonna take away anything, I don't think, when you look at these pages. Like, honestly, if you pull any of these, you're gonna be using the knowledge you know about how you read the pages. You can't really get anything out of the image, which I love doing. So that I didn't like. I was excited for the kings and the queens because, they are the masculine and the feminine side of the knight, who has both. Am I in frame? No, I'm not. So I was like, wow, that's new, and I kind of liked it, but at the same time I didn't, because I felt like the knight was, the more put together. The knight was the one who had both sides, and the hierarchy changed, which I'm okay with in a way. But if you're keeping the names, then the king and the queen is above a knight. So but it wasn't explained at all why this is how it is. They all have constellations on their clothing. It wasn't explained, which I was kind of sad. I mean, if I'm supposed to know them by heart, then I'm sorry, I just don't. And I would have appreciated some notes about, okay, that's the, the male sign, it's the female sign. That's cool. I think most of us knows. But the constellation, nah, I don't think so. I think there could have been explained more. So, reading the guidebook didn't change my understanding of the court cards, which it sucks. I'm not gonna lie, this sucks, and I was really disappointed with it because I was ready for anything. I was ready for something new, and it didn't came. Okay, looking at the notes. Okay. Someone else is something else that was kind of weird, and it might not be a problem for other people. So this is not like a universal thing where I was expecting more. I just didn't know. In this tarot deck, the main character who goes through the whole thing, or all the stages and everything, is not the fool. It's not the fool who's experiencing everything. It's the ringmaster, it's the high priestess. She's the one that connects everything together. She's everywhere. She's the one who conducts the whole show, which in a story is cool, but in a tarot deck, for me, it's not good, because the fool is the fool for a reason. The fool is a blank page who can, who will meet these major characters and get something out of them or out of the meeting, experience things and levels up and stuff like that. So when one of those characters that's supposed to teach the fool, so to speak, that's how I read the tarot, so like I said, it's just my thing, is suddenly more important, or it's the main figure, and the fool is just, I don't even know if the fool appears more than in the first card. I don't know, I kind of don't like it. And there were cards which I should have looked for, but I'll try to quickly look up. The Chariot, for example, which at first I was curious because, like I said, it was different, but it kind of looks like, if you look at it, it kind of looks like a normal chariot, but look at these people. They are really sad that they have to pull in the cart, which I don't like, because it makes it, doesn't it make it seem like they are using these people to move forward, and the chariot is really not at all about that. And I think that's the Fool, but I'm not even entirely sure. And the Fool is just, you know, like hanging here, not doing anything, and the High Priestess is charioting the chariot, or governing the chariot, or how do you say that? And I don't know, I just don't, I'm not saying I don't like it, because that sounds like I'm a kindergarten and, you know, I'm like a child and I don't like it. That's not about that. It's just not how I read tarot. And this, especially, I mean, not the whole fact, I mean, I love High Priestess, but their faces and how this is illustrated, it makes me think about this is a negative, this is about oppression or using people, which is not, because it's just the grand entrance and stuff like that in the guidebook. But it still look like that. And for me, the Chariot is definitely a positive card. And it's all about finding that balance, that you can balance both sides, your head and your heart, so that you can move forward. And I don't see that here. I don't see that at all. And I don't like the body language of the Fool. This whole, I'm just, you know, I'm being, what is it, a lord, so to speak. So yeah, these things like that bugs me. I can completely understand that it's not a problem for, you know, other people. Like I said, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy this deck. I'm just saying know die deck before buy die deck, because, you know, these things could be a problem for you as well. If not, awesome, you know, especially because I'm gonna sell this. So if anybody is interested in getting this deck unedged, tried to use it, but I wasn't really using it. Within the EU is the best. Please do that. Comment down below. And other question that I usually ask when I talk about the guidebook is, do I have to use it all the time, or is it enough if I go through, make notes, and, you know, or do I have to pull them out all the time? And that's not a good or a bad thing, because sometimes the guidebook is just so packed with information that it's beneficial for you to have it out. With this one, I would need to get it out if I want to, because I just couldn't remember the stories, because they go against how I know the tarot. So I was like, okay, what was it? Oh, I forgot what her version was it. So I had to pull it out and check and remind myself that, okay, that was the one. I mean, I did try to use it, honestly. So in a way, I would say that, yes, you would need to use this guidebook if you don't fall in love with the whole story and the system, which is not really, I don't want to say it's not really a system, it's just a weird system. But if you fall in love with it, I don't think you will need it, because you will remember the stories of the cards, which is great, honestly. Next section usually is the deck pairings, but I was thinking about, you know, trying to pull a few oracles cards and show you how they look together, and just be like, you know, here are some ideas. But then I was like, nope, I need to be honest. I did use this deck, but mostly on its own, and I can't really remember what oracles I tried it with, because it became quite obvious quite quickly that we're not gonna get along for a long time. So I kind of used it in big readings. It goes well with the, you know, every oracle, I think, but I didn't oh god, what's the word? Discover, that's the one. I didn't discover any awesome pairings, because I had my struggles with the deck. So I was more concerned with, okay, how am I gonna read this than how the other cards are reading. with it, if this makes any sense. But if you love this deck, if it's one of your favorite decks and you have favorite pairings, please do comment down below, so people who will be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or you know, they will be like, but I love this deck, they can still get some favorite pairings that they might have missed. So yeah, if you have those, please comment down below. Like I said, this is not an anti Cirque du Tarot. It's just I'm so sad because this was my Christmas deck, and it's just not for me, a video. Okay, so next question. How unique it is? Could I replace it? It is indeed unique. I'm not saying it's not. I think there's another circus themed tarot, maybe. I think maybe I've seen one on Robin's channel, Toadstool Tarot, but I can't be sure. He has such cool, you know, unique decks that if you're interested in those, you should definitely subscribe. Like I said, it's Toadstool Tarot. Toadstool is, you know, just one word. But even though I can't replace it because I don't have a Christmas themed or a deck that gives me that Christmas feeling, which this deck still gives, the illustration style, I will be, you know, letting it go because I'm just not using it, and this is not gonna be something that will come back around like the Darkwood Tarot and suddenly become the best deck ever, because I did my work with it and it's just not for me. And last question, did my initial impression hold up? Well, no. My initial impression was that this is going to be a unique deck, which, okay, it is, that the guidebook will make everything so much more better. I mean, if you remember when I was talking about it, that was my big hope, that once I read the guidebook, I will be like, oh, like I was with the Mermaid Tarot, and I will be annoying in chats and make other people buy the deck, which I did with the Mermaid. So maybe that makes up for this, you know, review. But unfortunately, it's not. I know I tried not to be immediately like, what the... in live streams after it, but I know that I've told people that yes, I finally read the guidebook, and no, it's not my deck anymore. So yeah, this is sad. Trust me, I'm more sad than you can think. I did have big expectations. I was excited for this deck, but this is just not for me. And you know, that's life. Sometimes you think something is going to be your thing, and then it's not. So like I said, oh, shuffling is amazing as usual. I mean, I like shuffling Llewellyn decks. It's just they're a bit too flimsy. That's the only thing. I think, you know, there's a core missing. That's the only thing they should do. So yeah, this deck it's not gonna stay here. If you're interested in buying this, please do let me know. That would be the easiest thing. I will post it on Instagram as soon as I can. Yeah, I can. But yeah, hopefully this was still useful and it was obvious that it's not bashing anyone. I know that, you know, Lisa Robertson is not someone who just pushes out something because, you know, she can. I know that she does the work. She is very well accomplished. She's just not, you know, I'm not gonna say that this wasn't a well thought out deck, because the story is there. It's just, for me, it's not connecting to the tarot. If I think an oracle deck would have been a better choice, and I would have loved that. You can still, you know, build up that circus act story with the cards, and I think that would have been a better idea. But you know, that's just my honest opinion and just mine. Okay, I think that should be enough. But yeah, hopefully this was useful. Please do let me know, comment down below, how do you read with this deck? Do you think that I'm just being, you know, crazy and everything? Oh, and I just realized that there's an eyes. I wasn't looking at the card back, that there's an eyes. I was just looking at all the colors and everything. And I'm gonna miss this back. I'm probably going to scan this one, because I kept the High Priestess from the Muse Tarot as well scanned, because I just love that High Priestess. But yeah, do let me know what's your experience with the deck. Subscribe, be around, and see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being understanding, and see you in the next one. Bye.